TMC MP Derek O'Brien, who's now with us. Mr. Derek O'Brien, first of all, what have you learned? What update can you give us about the health of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee?
Mr. Upadhyay, the medical bulletin for the day has been put out by the doctors. It's the same bulletin which has been sent to the media. So her ankle is in a plast. Her ankle is in a plast. The good news in all this is that all those, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but all the MRIs and all the brain neuro scans, etc. were done. That's all clear. So that's the good news. Her ankle is in a plast. She's in tremendous pain. As it is, she's a small eater, so she never does too much of eating, but she's in a lot of pain, and she's been taken out twice today from her room on a stretcher for the tests in two of the adjoining buildings. She is just behind me here in the Woodburn ward. But you said something at the end of the program, rather at the end of the discussion. You mentioned something about grace and courtesy and that kind of thing. But I want to use this opportunity, Mr. Upadhyay, not to get into the politics, but to thank everybody across leaders of political parties. Obviously, our workers, we had to put out a message this morning because you can imagine, thankfully it's been peaceful now. But obviously there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of emotion when those pictures went out, and it's not possible to control that kind of emotion. So it's all is calm. So that message was put out. We originally thought we'd put the message, or one of us would put out the message, and when we told the Chief Minister that, she thought no, she herself put out that message. So we want to thank everybody, and we want to thank large sections of the media who've been, I say large sections of the media have been quite very responsible in the reportage. And even somebody who politically completely disagrees with us. For the last 10 years we have not found any common ground. But Mr. Naveen Patnaik, it was so gracious and courteous and decent of Mr. Naveen Patnaik to send out a message. Obviously, Akhilesh ji did, and Tejas, everyone did that.
Derek O'Brien, you know, there will be a question of a lot of people who have been conspicuous by their silence also, including Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi. Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has taken an absolutely contrarian position. And then, of course, the silence of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah.
No, I'm not getting into... No. The other people, the first three names you mentioned, since you mentioned the Mrs. Gandhi and Mr. Gandhi, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, you're not privy, nor am I maybe, to some personal message being sent. But the Home Minister of the country and the Prime Minister of the country, I'm no one to give them any advice as to whether they should wish a sitting Chief Minister of India. Yes, she's the lady Chief Minister, but that's secondary. She's the Chief Minister of India. Whether they will wish her a speedy recovery or don't wish her a speedy recovery, that's not me as a...
Derek, what do you have to say about the Election Commission?
Bengal to tell them
the Election Commission has now spoken, Derek O'Brien. Election Commission says that your memorandum is full of insinuation. This is the same memorandum that you had presented.
Yes. So tomorrow we are flying to Delhi. There are 6 MPs who are flying to Delhi tomorrow. And there we have a sequence of events which we will present. But that apart, what is the insinuation when, and number 2, the ADG of police is removed and replaced by somebody else. Apparently 3 names were given, and the somebody else who replaced him was one of the 3 names. Who is in charge now of is it President's rule in Bengal? Not when I last checked. Has Bengal become a union territory? Not yet. So who is in charge of this entire police force in Bengal, where you saw the pictures? Then somebody so the Election Commission is a very honourable body. But I have to put this on record that we have to stand up today to protect the great institutions of India, be it Parliament, be it the RBI, be it the Election Commission, we need to introspect. You know, in this hurly-burly of election politics, if everything, and I'm not even talking about the Supreme Court, I don't want to go there.
Sure.
But we need to, as people in public life, introspect. This is what happened last night. This is what happened last night. Two senior leaders from political parties go and say, oh, this is a stage drama. Nothing has happened to her. Please come. What are we going to show you? We're not going to put out those reports to say, you know, here it is. No. So I think, Mr. Upadhyay, it's a much bigger picture.
Sure.
Elections will come. Elections will go. But what kind of legacy are we leaving behind for our children and our children's children? I think at moments like this, when you are in a hospital bed sitting outside in a lounge, seeing a lady who's always in complete control of whatever she does, whatever she thinks.
You know, I asked this question of many leaders of the BJP and they said, what sort of a legacy is Mamata Banerjee leaving behind when she made fun of JP Nadda when he kept coming into Bengal? So, you know, this debate on decency is something which must be had. And I guess the sooner we go ahead and realize this, the better.
Since you brought up this issue of a particular surname, if you are comparing that with what I am talking about, you know, those injuries, when a 5 medical team of doctors is there, those are grievous injuries. It's another matter knowing Mamata, she will fight back. She's already trying to hint to us. I can almost pick up the sense that, you know, I don't want to be lying around here for 1 week. I want to get back, even if it's on a wheelchair. I need to campaign. But that is her. That is, you know, that is how this lady, this is what makes Mamata Banerjee Mamata Banerjee. But I think it's in a bigger stage. And, you know, this even talks about, even in Central Hall, MPs have stopped talking to each other. One party will not talk because in case their boss sees them or the two bosses they have, if they see them, they'll get into trouble. We need to get out of this. We need to get out of this. There has to be. And I want to tell you today, there are 1 or 2 MPs today from different political parties who came privately, sat with us in the lounge. I think that's good. It's good. But to even suggest that this was all one drama, here is somebody is in the middle of an election campaign. She wants to hop around. And I was saying, if you're saying there's a drama, then somebody put out a theory saying, you know, the car was parked here. The pictures of those cars are now circulating. One more last point, if I just make.
Lots of people are going to say lots of things.
Very responsible.
But my point is, I think we should wait for the investigation to be completed.
Thing, please.
I've completely run out of time, Mr. Derek O'Brien. But once you come to Delhi,
one more thing.
We'll have a conversation with you. But thank you so much for joining us right here.